Hey guys, it's Summer again with Grasshopper Luck, and today I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make this Argyle card. Super cute, really simple, and then the envelope that goes with it as well. So here's the envelope, and you saw the card, and now I'm going to get started on showing you how. Now I made both of these, all of these cutouts I got from the Cricut wild card cartridge and the mini monograms cartridge. So if you have a Cricut, that's where I got these cutouts. And the card is the Argyle card, and then on the mini monograms you can pretty much just play and just make sure that your monogram is sized appropriately with your card. So I decided to do this card in pink, gray, and black just because I think that they're pretty colors and they go well together. And I think I'm going to start here with the envelope. So I'm going to do the envelope first, just putting the card stuff aside here. And all we have, there's just two pieces of the envelope. The first one is the envelope part, and the second one is the envelope liner, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is, once the envelope is already cut out, is you're going to want to score your envelope. One of the things I've mentioned before is that the Cricut does give you two little, I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, but two little points here where it shows you the line to line up so that you can score, which comes in really handy when you're not actually scoring just a straight line. I finally got around to getting a Score Pal, although I guess technically this is not a Score Pal. It is the Martha Stewart version, and I love it because of a few things. One is that it has a whole bunch of lines. It's not like the Score Pal where it's just like a line here and then you might have two lines down the way. It's lines all the way through. Second thing I love about this is that there's a little compartment here if you're making your own envelopes. It gives you information about the width, where to score your lines, and it's really helpful. And then it's got a really cool place to store it right here on the Score Pal. It's got a place up here where you can store your scoring tool, and in here it also gives you measurements of cards and boxes to kind of help you with it. The other thing that makes this, in my opinion, really special is that it's got a mark on the center. This is a 12-inch, a little over 12 inches, but it's got a mark where the center is so that you know exactly where that is. Anyway, so now that I've got my score pad out, I'm going to line this up. Not necessarily going to be going flush against the scoring tool, but I am going to just basically cut this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and score this side right, whoops. If you can, you want to always butt something up against one of the edges. It makes the scoring a lot easier, but since I don't have that option, because this is an envelope and it's got some kind of odd angles, I just want to make sure that I line up the two marks on each side. Okay, so there we go. And one more spot to score. Okay, so now I've scored my envelope. Now before I fold it, I'm going to use the liner and go ahead and put the liner in here. It's really important to get the liner in line in this area right here, but if you don't get it lined up down in this part, just make sure it's up here, because that's where you're going to see it the very most. So I'm just going to grab my tape here. And this is a new roll, so let's get to where the tape is. and I'm just going to run the lines around the edges the best that I can, as close as I can. You don't want your tape to go over the edges, but it's still really nice to get as close as possible. So now I'm going to line this up, and when I'm lining it up, I'm trying to really focus on the top part of it rather than any of the other areas. And just like that, it's really simple. Once you line this top part up, the bottom part will line up. If not perfectly, it will line up pretty close to perfectly. So now that I have that, I'm just going to come through here and just kind of flatten this out. Crease this here. Crease this here. And here. And then up here you got to go on the outside because you want to make sure that you get the crease lined up right. And since the liner is on the inside, it makes it a little bit harder, but it's still should be still pretty easy to get it lined up right if you've already done your score mark. I'm going to come back in through here, and I'm just going to make sure that this all lines up correctly, and then I'm just going to come back and add tape to this side right over here. Close as I can get it, trying not to go over, and then fold that, and then I'm going to do the same for this side over here. And then you definitely want to go back and whatever tool you use, it really doesn't matter. I like to use this to crease things down. It's the Cricut version. I don't know if I've seen one specifically like this other than the Cricut version, but a lot of people I've seen use their score tool, which is just fine. But use what you got. Just make sure that you want to flatten it down to where it's flattened appropriately. And you want to try not to make a mistake, which is why you use this score line, but sometimes you do, and just go back and get it straightened out and then come back through and flatten it again. Okay, so the envelope here is complete. You can see that's all there is to it. What I like to do then is go back through and I grab a little piece of my score tape. This is a little bit different kind of tape. I'm going to measure it out and then cut it. And go ahead and stick it on the top of this envelope. I put it right at the top of the liner is usually the best place to put it. And that way when you're ready to mail the card, all you have to do, just like you would on an envelope that had the pre-adhesive closing tape, just go back and remove the liner of that tape and close it, and then you're done with the envelope. So I'm going to put